Okay. Our speaker today is Brooke Shafer. She has been a spiritual seeker since age 16 and is continually inspired by classes with Dr. Ruth Miller and her wife, NIN Bebeau. Having been a social worker for over 40 years, she loves connecting with people. She continues to assist people in healing from trauma and dealing with transitions in living and dying. Brooke's message is heartfelt, joyful, and uplifting. She is fascinated by the interplay between light.
Here's what I found.
Between light and darkness. She is also the author of a book of poems, Love is Around Every Corner. Copies are available on the back bookshelf. Advertisement done. Today, her talk is entitled, The Love You Seek Lives Within You. And she will share her discovery of the abundance of love and healing that exists within us. This abundance of God's love and light is our true nature, and claiming this abundance can expand our lives and help our world. Please welcome my dear friend, Shafer.
Thank you, Linda. I had to make copious notes for today. I've written this speech about 50 times, and but I am so glad to see everybody here. Thank you for inviting me, Linda. It's been really quite a journey to think about doing this presentation. She asked me 4 months ago, and it just really, up until 5 o'clock this morning, I've still been thinking about what I was going to say today. It's good to see each of you here, familiar faces and new faces. And again, we're going to talk about the abundance of light and love within us. And I hope you hear something that makes you fall more deeply in love with yourself and everyone you meet. I am going to begin with a poem from my book, and it's called Finding Myself. I see you, a glistening red jewel like a mountain, sitting atop a single island in the middle of the ocean. The water is calm and shallow. I walk out to greet you, to partake of your beauty, to bring you a message, hoping to receive one from you in return, a connection. Day after day, I make this walk. It seems easy, delightful, fun. Being with you, sharing your beautiful soul feeds me, and I hope my gifts are feeding you as well. One day, after several months, I come to the water's edge, ready to make the daily trek, but the waters are bristling, the waves are choppy, and far too high for me to move through safely. I feel a disappointment, a sadness. I've looked forward to our daily connection, and I ask myself if the gifts I have to give you are displeasing to you. Are they boring? Not enough to hold your attention? And I begin to see myself curling like a leaf drying in the fall, my energy withering as I negatively compare myself to your beauty, your wisdom, your creativity, your other friends. The old fears, the old questioning, seasoned with a touch of self-loathing, begins to creep into my mind. Questions, so many questions. And as I sit on the beach of my own making, looking inward, praying for help from my inner wisdom, I see an image, faint at first, slightly out of focus, but becoming clearer with each conscious breath that I take, until I can see myself, a shimmering emerald green stone, sitting atop of my very own island out in the ocean of my own being. And I feel a presence being at home with myself. Sometimes I feel this life is such a lonely journey. Then I breathe in the life of spirit, love of spirit, the kindness of spirit. And that is when I can see all of it. 10,000 jewels, each atop their own island, shimmering in a sea of compassion. This sea is what connects us to one another always. And so what I'm going to do today is just to talk a little bit about my life and sort of where I started out and where I am today. And it really is a journey, you know, probably like some of you. I had sort of a rough start, and there were lots of challenges and difficulties and experiences that were unpleasant and dangerous. I grew up with a group of people where they really taught me that there was something wrong with me. I was cut off from my family and from told that even God didn't love me. And that in that final end, I was off from myself. And, but this journey, it made me very depressed, you know, and it made me so that I really had trouble interacting with people. I had trouble learning. I had trouble connecting. It was very difficult. I was filled with shame and anger. And I really lived from one moment to the next without connection. It was just these series of individual moments. I really didn't understand anything about myself or other people or about life. I was scared of living and terrified of dying. I'd been taught that I was bad and evil and that no one would ever love me, not even God. I was told I had to pay for my life. I used alcohol and sugar as a way to deal with it. And different events happened. My mother died when I was 24. I moved to Oregon. And I was able to stop drinking as I started to remember the things that had happened to me. But I was always depressed and feeling like, you know, I wanted to get off this planet. I had this idea that somewhere there was something outside of myself that was better than what I had experienced. And when I was 40, I met a woman named Claudia in Eugene. She was a tarot card reader, an astrologer, and she also did channeling groups. And she gave me, somebody introduced me to her and I had a reading, and she told me, I can see inside of you and there is only good. There's nothing evil in you. And I just wept as she told me that. And I still had trouble coming back to that thought. And I had heard that she had this channeling group, so I went to it. The first night that she channeled, I had this experience of just feeling the oneness, feeling at peace, feeling safe. And when she stopped channeling, I burst into tears and I went over to her and I said, I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't stop crying. And she said, we've just come back too soon for you. She said, you can go to that place on your own in any moment. She said, put your hand on your heart and I'll help you. We'll go there right now. And so what she did was empower me to know that the peace that I was looking for was actually inside of me. It wasn't anywhere else. And that was very, very helpful. Let me see. You know, Claudia died when I was 63. And different other people who I was really close to had died, and there was a lot of stress in my life. I had a lot of health problems. And, you know, I was still on this journey where I was not feeling very good about myself. And that's when I started to come to a group that Linda and Callista were part of. And we did this inner journey and studied different teachers. And I started to write poetry. When I would feel a difficult feeling, my inner voice would say, go inside, get a paper and pencil and write something down. And so these poems started coming to me, and they would give me positive feedback. And I'd think, oh my. But at any rate, that was sort of the beginning of coming to this new place. So I took classes with Ruth Miller, and I also had learned transcendental meditation, which really helped me. Let me see. And then at one point, so COVID comes, and I'm doing pretty well, and then COVID comes. And I'm like, okay, now I've got no family, no pet. How is this going to work out? And I had become friends with NIN, and she was also a teacher of astrology and tarot, and I'd taken her classes, and we had become friends. So in the end, we ended up forming a relationship, a loving relationship. And that really helped me grow. What I learned through being with NIN was that I was still thinking that bad things were happening to me. This shame really that I was experiencing was all around me. I saw events and people as something bad happening to me, when in fact, eventually I could see that what was happening was inside my own mind. It wasn't happening on the outside, that my mind was still creating the same scenario that I had gone through as a child. And I started to work with that. I started to send myself loving kindness and others. Really living in a lot of joy. And so what I'm going to do now is read one more poem, and then I have some thoughts. This is called The Ego in the Heart. The ego is scared of everything and everyone. Heart says, I am here. You are. The ego says, I don't feel worthy of being. Here. I love you. There will never be another you anywhere in the universe, in all of eternity. The ego says, I feel so sad and all alone. Heart says, I'm always with you, even though you cannot see me. Can you feel the warmth, depth of my love for you? I feel afraid of living. The ego says, I feel afraid of dying. The heart says, I'm always here. I will never leave you. We will ride the waves of living, dying together. The ego says, sometimes I feel better or smarter, more successful than other people. The heart says, everyone is unique. How do you compare apples and oranges? By remembering the divine nature from which everyone and everything arises. The ego says, I feel tired, but I feel lazy when I rest. The heart says, I am here to rest with you and to remind you that being is as important as doing. The ego says, what if you get tired of me? The heart says, don't you know by now that you and I are one? Some thoughts that I wanted to share with everybody. It's interesting. I sort of was going to read through all these cards, but that's not occurring. So let's see what else we have. I'd say is that as I've really seen that this is an inside job, and as I have reconnected with the joy and the light and love inside myself, I really hold no regret and no grudge against one that I've encountered or myself. And I feel that in some ways I chose this life. and these experiences, and that that there was something that I wanted to learn. I sort of have this memory of before life, somebody saying, we need somebody to go down there and do this lifetime. And I went, oh, I could do that. And then, of course, I said, what was I thinking? But the truth is that what I'm experiencing is that we come here to learn lessons, you know, and we come here to grow, and we come here to interact with each other. You know, I think everybody is a teacher, everybody is a student for everyone else. And so this is what I chose. And what I finally decided was that I chose this lifetime because I wanted to prove beyond the shadow of any doubt that you could not alter or destroy divine light in any way. That is the light that is within us. That is the light that we are. And that is the journey I decided to take, and to prove that it was impossible. You know, at some point in my journey, I realized that, you know, I couldn't have made it through my childhood on my own. I had this ego, oh, you know, I did it all by myself, but I didn't. There had to have been angels, God, beings that helped me and protected me through that lifetime, because it's almost impossible that somebody would have survived what I went through. So that gave me a spiritual connection. And somebody also told me, you know, you could believe in a loving God, a kind and loving God. And I was like, wow, that's a great idea. So people have helped me along the way a lot. I have so many people that help me. And let me see. So the goal is to differentiate between what happens to us and who we really are. Everybody in this room, I'm sure, has had difficult, challenging experiences to move through. And shame, you know, shame is at the lowest vibrational level. And shame is when we believe that what's happening to us is really who we are. You know, if somebody says something mean or bad or whatever, we sometimes take that in and think that there's something wrong with us. And the other thing is, you know, we are like snowflakes. We are each of us totally unique. There is not and will never be another person like you on this planet, in this world. This is our opportunity to express God's divinity through ourselves. And each of us is totally unique and beautiful. And it's so important that we take this opportunity, and we don't need to compare ourselves to anybody else. There's no competition, because there will never be any one of us. This is it. And I think that is such a freeing thought. And I encourage, you know, NIN is very creative and she's very fearless, you know, and she has encouraged me. I feel like I'm much more adventuresome now and creative. And again, this is my opportunity. You know, it took me 7 decades to get to this place. But I'm here now, and I'm trying to make the most of every single moment of it, because this is what we have. And it's so amazing when I'm in a happy place with myself, and then I meet other people, I'm excited to share my thoughts and feelings. And I'm so excited to hear about other people's thoughts and feelings. You know, it's really a wonderful world. It's such a different world from the one I grew up in. Let me see here. So when you're having a difficult feeling, it's so important just to go inside and love yourself. I'm taking this theater improv class in Florence, where I live. And the woman is so cute. And she talks about this group agreement. And she says, you know, when Linda earlier, the song wasn't in the right place. She says, if you ever feel like you've done something wrong, or you can't remember something, you just go, I love myself. and throw your arms up. And you know, I'm telling you, that really works. So as the teacher's teaching the class, she can't figure out what's going on or what she's saying. She just all of a sudden goes, I love myself. And I really encourage you to do that, because what the heck? And that's really the goal, is that we want to love ourselves where we're at. We want to love ourselves if we're in shame, if we're in fear, if we're in anger, if we're in grief, wherever we're at. You know, when these feelings and thoughts come up, if we greet them with love, they will dissolve and move on. But if we shame ourselves and try to push them away and resist them, they'll persist and they'll hang on. So I think that loving yourself, no matter what, is such an important job. Learn to dance with every thought, every feeling, every experience. Dance with yourself and everyone you meet. Know that God is all around you and within you always. You know, shame makes us believe we've lost our connection with God. That's what happened to me anyway. And that's what we most long for. You know, again, I used to want to die because I wanted to go to this place where everything would be okay. And what I've come to realize now is that I don't have to die to get to heaven. I can experience heaven in each moment that I sit with myself, I'm in a loving place with myself, and that I'm in a wonderful interaction with other people. Let me see here. How are we doing on time, Linda? I was thinking about the fact that, you know, my childhood taught me to be outer focused. It taught me to be a people pleaser and to pay attention to what other people wanted from me and what other people expected and what other people thought. And I had no inner focus. I really thought the inner part of me was not really worth anything. I didn't even know how to access it. And again, you know, taking a class in transcendental meditation and studying with teachers like Ruth and NIN and people that can help you go inside and help you find this beautiful place that's inside of you all the time. You know, in our culture here, oftentimes, you know, there's this polarity. We live in this world of polarity, right, wrong, good, bad. And, you know, the news media and everything that some of the stuff that we hear is scary. But we have the divine light within us. We are the divine light. Everybody is an extension of divinity, no matter what. And that means that the people you meet along the way are also that same divine light. Today we were driving up here and we saw a woman on the side of the road. And I said, well, Nin, she was hitchhiking. I said to Nin, well, I think I'll pick her up. At least I knew her from a class. And she was such a wonderful spirit. And clever and funny. And it was like, I thought, wow, look at God sent this angel right. Come right into the car. Just sing along as I go through my.
I love myself.
Thank you, Charlie. Way to go. I love myself. Thank you, Charlie. Okay, and know that your loving kindness is never wasted. Your loving kindness towards yourself or someone else is never wasted. We will never know the ways in which we have changed other people's lives. You know, a friendly face, a smile. We just never know the impact that we're making on this world. I believe that. Cross over here. Good that we did it in the work. See, how much time do we have? That's okay. I was thinking about this part, sometimes we feel like we're superior to other people. And, that was me. I was on this roller coaster. I'm better than everybody. I'm worse than everybody. And I was thinking about, when you feel superior, you worry about falling off that pedestal. How much stuff do I have to do to still look good? And when you're at the bottom, when you feel inferior to others, which I've been there many a time, you end up feeling jealous, resentful, angry. And you try to make people like you or like you're a good person. But, really, that's where claiming and knowing that who you are is enough. Thing. And I think that's where joy comes in. That's where we aim. Feeling sorry. Like this. So go. That totally changes my focus. Going inside, so busy on the outside, but finding ways to go inside and be with your divine self. That could be meditation. It could be drumming, singing, dancing, doing Tai Chi. It could be being creative and artistic. It could be gardening. It could be having a connection with a special friend or a pet. It's important to get out of your head and to be in your heart. And it's important to examine your beliefs. This is the other thing. Okay, this is the other thing that I did. I really had to look at what I thought was happening out here and really see where was that coming from. And what I found was my thoughts were being projected onto people and events, and it was making me believe negative things about myself. And that was something that I could change. Okay, we're about out of time, so I'm going to read. Is there anything else that I really want to say? I'm going to read one more poem. Okay, this is called Love Is. Love is never born. Love never dies. Love is all there is. Love is the truth of all things, all beings. We are love. Love is an energy, a beautiful, iridescent, clean, white, radiant light. There is no need to fear anyone or anything, for only love is real. And love is who you are, who you have been, and who you will always be from now through eternity. Embrace the love that you are. See the love in each being you encounter. Your whole body and being will begin to relax as you do this, and you will find a peace like no other. A peace you may feel you have never known, yet a peace so familiar that in the dark recesses of your heart, you have a sense of coming home, being home. You are home in every moment that you allow the love that you are to shine and radiate through your body, your chakras, and the essence of your being. Come home today. We have missed you. So we're going to have a short meditation now. Close your eyes if you're comfortable with that. Take a deep breath in and let it out. If you need to move around a little bit in your chair to get comfortable, let yourself do that. And picture taking a journey in your heart. Picture yourself stepping on your favorite path. It could be a walk in the forest. It could be a walk by the beach. It could be a walk anywhere you would like it to be. But let yourself feel comfortable being in this sacred place with yourself. Notice the sounds, the smells, the beauty all around you. And as you continue walking, you come to a small clearing. And you see a comfortable chair there. And you let yourself sit down and relax. And you take a deep breath. And you know that you are in a safe place, a place of your own creation. And as you are sitting there, you see a being come towards you. It is your sacred higher self. It could be God, could be an angel. It could be one of your pets or someone from your family. But this being very gently walks up into the clearing and sits down across from you. You feel their light and their love. You feel the depth of their love for you. It may even surprise you to see and feel how deeply they care about you. And you ask them if they have a message for you. It may be an object, a word, an idea. And you tuck this gift that they have given you, you tuck it into your heart. And then they ask if you would be willing to allow a part of you that has been hurt and wounded, that if you would allow that part of you to come into this clearing and to be with you and to be with your guardian angel. And you see this person, whatever age they are, this part of you that has experienced something challenging, something that has challenged your belief in your connection with your higher self. And your guardian angel assists you in comforting this part of yourself. And you tell this part that you're so glad they had the courage to come be with you today. And you reassure them that you're going to do all you can to assist them in healing and feeling loved. And you ask this part of you, is there anything that you need from me? Is there a gift that you need from me? A word, a picture, something that you need me to do? And you let that part of you answer. And you sit for a moment, yourself, guardian angel, and this part of you, holding hands, forming a circle. Energy. Light and pain. And energy from this experience. Agreement to keep in touch with your guardian angel. You are. To your life. And as you're comfortable, slowly let your eyes twitch.
Thank you.
I feel